What's up guys, John here, welcome back to another video. Today I'm just going to be playing some Dark Souls 3 and I'll be showing you one of the most overpowered and one of the most fun to use builds in Dark Souls 3. Now all you're going to want to need for this class is a Castus, so you can dual wield it, put it in your left hand so you can two-hand it then. And then you're going to want to have in your right hand a Black Knight Great Axe. Now you don't have to have the Black Knight Great Axe, it's not necessary, but it's the best for visceraling, or one of the best weapons for visceraling, and just an all-around good heavy weapon because it does a lot of damage. But you could use like a Dragon Slayer Great Axe or like a Black Knight Great Sword or something along those lines. But just something that can get the 3-hit visceral, which anything can if that's heavy if it gets the Hornet's Ring on. I just recommend a heavy weapon. Now for the armor, you can really use anything. I just use Havels just because I want to be able to take a lot of hits, and I want to be able to do pretty decent against magic damage. But there's a lot of different armor you could use, especially if your level's only like 120, which I know a lot of people are because they want to stay in that range for Fight Club. Now for the rings, they're pretty much essential. You need the Hornet's Ring, just especially for the parries and everything. The Ring of Favor, maybe not essential for this one, but they're very helpful for, you know, health points, stamina, and it's parrying and stuff. Alright, Pontiff's Right Eye, this helps boost attacks, so when you're spamming L1 with those fists, because you get a lot of damage off doing that, then you get to do extra damage because Pontiff's Right Eye. And the Ring of Steel Protection is good for when you're trying to parry a Dark Sword, and if you just, because you're going to get hit a few times usually if you're not the best at parrying like me. But if you want to improve your parrying, you can go to the High Wall of Lothric, and you're just going to want to go there and just start parrying the enemies. Use the Castus though to parry them. So you just hold that in your left hand. You only one-handed if you want to parry. If you're two-handing it, you'll do a thing called Preservance, which is really good actually, because it means you can't be staggered by heavy weapons or anything for a few seconds, and you can just hit all day. Now this guy, as you can see, he's doing the classic, you know, spam R1 tactic, which with a weapon just like the Dark Sword. But if you get that parry off, then they're done. As you can see how much health it takes away with the Black Knight Great Axe. So he was just spamming, he didn't really care. I guess he thought I couldn't parry him for some reason. Now this guy was a bit better, but he was using the Halberd, which can be parried, and Rapier, which can also be parried a little bit easier. The Halberd can be parried one or two-handed, just remember that, so if you're facing a Halberd. But some moves can't be parried, the main attacks can be though, like the R1 and R2. But if you're using the weapon art, I don't think it can be parried. So just be careful of that. The Rapier can be parried basically no matter what. Even the weapon art, I think, because either whether it's one-handed or two-handed. Now, two-handed heavy weapons, as most of you know, cannot be parried. So the best way to deal with those is you're going to, when the two-hand, the Castus, you're just going to sprint at them and tap L1. Because as you could see earlier, the sprinting L1 move does about 300 damage per like hit if you get a hit off of them. And it has a pretty decent amount of range for, you know, fist. You wouldn't expect it to have range, but it actually has a lot of range, which is pretty awesome. So heavy weapons really won't see that coming. And like they'll try and hit you, but if you hit them with the sprinting L1, or if you're getting close, use Preservance to just spam L1. They really can't get away, and they'll be staggered if you're doing the sprinting attacks, or if you do rolling attacks. You know, there's a lot of variety you could do. Now against Pyromancers, you're going to want to get in really close and just spam L1. That one's pretty obvious, but Pyromancers are probably the most annoying people to fight with this build, just because you have to do a lot of damage, and they really won't stand there and let you do damage. They won't try to hit you usually, because they're going to just try and do off a lot of spells, especially if they're like just a straight up Pyromancer with no weapons. They're only going to keep their distance, so you're going to have to try and sprint in and get really close, and even then it's going to be very annoying to fight then. You're not going to be able to spam L1 like I just did on that guy. A lot of people with these parrying shields, if they're using a weapon like this, then they're just using the parrying shield just for show, like they don't actually know how to parry. And if you do know someone that knows how to parry, then you're going to want to not be locked onto them and then just spam L1. You can still do it, and if you hit them with that, then they actually can't parry you, and it's really overpowered. I forget what it's called, but if you just don't lock onto them and spam L1, that they can't parry you no matter how hard they try, so it's pretty awesome. Now this is one of the best builds I recommend. It's the most fun too, because if you go into a Dark Souls, like a Fight Club, and they'll just see you running with Castus, they'll be like, I'm not expecting much from this guy. They might even go easy on you. And then when you start doing major damage, or if you get a parry, then you visceral them with the Black Knight Great Axe, then they're really going to realize, well, crap, this guy's actually pretty good. As you can see, this person, he starts using the parrying shield, but he doesn't really know how to use it, so I really take advantage of that and just wail away at him. Now, yeah, if you have any other questions about this build, like I would only recommend it in PvP, though, and I wouldn't recommend it if you're getting ganked, unless you just want to use the Black Knight Great Axe, which you could do. But yeah, if you have any questions about the build, leave it in the comments section down below. I'm just going to let the rest of the clips play out. They're just some clips I got in Fight Club, and they're pretty good. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Peace out.